Hello, good evening, everybody. Could I get a sound check for the last time in 2022? Can you hear me okay? Hope you're all doing well. Sounds good. Hi, Matt, Linda, Alan, Chris, Caden. Hey, guys. You were warned. The last two emails said this is going to be super boring. So, no complaints. But like I say, sometimes I find some of the boring ones are the ones that really end up making or breaking people. So it's important. It's not going to be one of these spectacular ones packed with charts. I did put one chart in here at the last minute because there's something I say a lot lately that I wanted to kind of incorporate in here. I say it in the trading room a lot. So I put one chart in here just for fun to make one point. But the rest of it is all just going to be me boring talking. So here's what today was about. And this opening paragraph, I normally just skip over this, but this may apply to a lot of you. Have you ever been stuck in a rut, tired of the break-even blues? I find it's a very common problem. A lot of people come into trading and they just get blown out right away. They just don't know what they're doing. They risk a lot of money and they quit. But people are a little smarter, find out, start right, hang around, but they never quite turn the corner where they feel they're making what they want to make, or maybe they're not really making anything, but they're just hanging in there break even the whole time. A lot of the stuff we're talking about here today will probably help you, and it would probably help you whether you're fairly new or if you've been trading for years on and off. I have a lot of people that, they tried trading a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, and they loved trading, but they just couldn't make it. They had to go on and do something else or get an account again or whatever the problem was. And then they come back. And a lot of times the second time back, they do much, much better because some of those perils they were warned about, they didn't listen to. Well, now they understand them. When you really get slapped in the face, you tend to kind of listen to the warning the next time. What does it say next? So there's a famous saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. There's no truer place that applies than the average trader. Getting a few trades right is worthless if you don't know what you did that made those trades good trades. I want you to think about that last sentence. And a lot of what I have to say today is in all-out effort to just try and make all of you better traders. And that's whether you're doing it on your own, whether you're doing it indirectly through me, whether you're a student of mine, whatever it is. I want you to really focus. And a lot of this is kind of introspective. It's really not just reading the words, but saying, I'm going to call you out, hey, do you understand what I'm saying right here? And this is one of them, is I find so often, and I get to say these words because I've been doing this a long time. I've helped a lot of people that email me, and I see the common things. I also know what I went through, but it's such a common thing to see somebody that just does the same thing over and over and over and over again. They're not improving. And it's like, well, why would you expect to improve? If you do nothing different the next day, nothing's going to change. It's actually one of the slides in here. So we're going to run through 10 things here. Before we get going, I want to just quickly review, since this is the end of the year, the schedule the next couple of weeks. Today, we're doing the Wednesday special event. Tomorrow is the last day for the DTS Trading Room and Daily Market Letter. You'll get an email about this, of course. DTS is taking off Friday, and then the following week, the holiday week, we traditionally do this, taking off Monday. The market is actually only closed next Monday and the following Monday, which is in celebration of Christmas and New Year's Day. So it's the following Monday. So the market is closed 2 days. DTS will also be closed Friday and the other 4 days of next week. January 2nd, DTS resumes all services. But of course, long-term positions I have to keep monitoring. So those of you in the long-term trader, you may still hear from me, whether it's to manage what we have open or whether it's to possibly do something new, because I can't ignore those and don't want to. And I am going to be around in general. Naturally, I'm not going to be sitting here looking at email. But what I am doing for you is a little Christmas present, a little holiday present for the whole, well, actually, it's more of a New Year's present because it's going to start tomorrow, I think, 10 days, 10-day countdown to New Year's. You're going to get an email every morning, just a little educational email, various topics. A couple might be humorous, a couple might be things that hit home with you, but they're all going to be some educational topics. And they're going to be in your in basket early in the morning every day. I'd like to let you think that I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day just to send you an email. But the truth of it is that there's this thing called a scheduling ability for emails. So I think I'll just let you think I get up early every day to send you these. But look early in the morning, so when you get up, you'll have a little educational tidbit from DTS over the holiday week, okay? Second of all, whenever I do a topic like this, the question comes up, at least to me, is, who am I talking to? You say 10 things to improve your trading for next year. Well, who are we talking to? I mean, Paul, wouldn't the first thing be like to learn what the heck you're doing? It is, but that's so obvious. It's not what tonight is about. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to figure out what you're doing. It assumes and presumes that you understand what it says here. It presumes that you understand that there is no beginning to making money in the market unless you have a starting point. And that starting point is superior understanding of technical analysis. You notice that I for years now, I never discuss learning technical analysis without using these terms, superior understanding. Because I'm sick of people that have this C- understanding of technical analysis and say it doesn't work. It only doesn't work because you don't have a clue what you're doing. You need to get a really good understanding. Technical analysis works. It works magnificently to do the job it's supposed to do, which is specifically to get the odds in your favor. What you do with those results after that, that's up to you. A lot of people goof it up after they get the odds in their favor. But it's a whole rounded package you have to understand to make money. So these 10 must-dos, and I really wasn't sure that was good English, but I liked it and I Googled it. It seemed to be an acceptable word, so we're going with it. These must-dos all occur after the above is accomplished. Now, naturally, it's kind of a lift yourself up by your shoelaces, I think is the analogy, where you kind of have to learn what you're doing, but along the way you also have to kind of understand all these things I'm going to talk about today. It's not like you kind of build one pillar and then build another pillar. You have to kind of just keep building all the pillars as you go to continue to get better at all of the technical understanding that you have. So with that beginning, it's now 5:08. Let me start with number one. Number one on the list, I'm not giving you the whole list, you're going to get them by surprise. And some of these are going to seem to have a little overlap, and I think they do. But here's number one, which is unique and stands out, and maybe a little bit touches on what it says here, even though I said I'm not going to talk about having that understanding. But I do want you to understand this, and I think it's an important topic. You heard me say this before. Let's begin. The limits of reverse engineering. Now, the reason I bring this up is the reason I bring up a lot of topics I teach is because I run into the problem over and over and over again. These are things to me that traders come to me with that are limiting their ability to move on. Reverse engineering is when you look at the final product and you go back and figure out how it was made. It works great in a lot of industries. As a matter of fact, it works so well, I think it's even outlawed in some industries. But it doesn't work in some industries. So let me show you, for example, here. I'm going to teach you all how to paint right now. You ready? Everybody ready for this? Drum roll, please. You're all going to be expert artistes in a matter of seconds. Here we go. There you go. There it is. Just do that. I've made it non-boring now. Right? There you go. Just do, you see it there? Chris, Scotty, you see it? Just do that. Do this right here. I understand, I'm not an artist myself. I guess you could say I don't really appreciate art. But I understand that that's a beautiful painting. And all you have to do is do that. So just do it. You're done. It's that simple. Don't like that example? Here. I'm about to teach you how to be a medical doctor. Want to fix a broken leg? Just do that. There it is. I was going to put a heart operation, but like the pictures are really, really gory. And I thought some of you might get mad at me. So pretend that's a heart operation. But whatever it is, you kind of get the point of what I'm saying. There are some things that are great for kind of reverse engineering. You can go on YouTube and watch a video. YouTube is great. I mean, gosh, I can't tell you the number of things that I've, gotten to fix around the house or do this or do that. You pull up YouTube and it's like, wow, this is great. But they're simple projects, whether it's hanging blinds or whatever it is, there's a lot of simple things you can do. But there are things that are difficult. Would you perform a heart operation on someone, or would you let someone perform a heart operation on you that only had the preparation of watching a video on YouTube? The answer is, well, of course not. You need lots of understanding in many layers beneath that to understand what you're doing. So wait a minute, Paul. Are you trying to say that being a trader is as difficult as being a doctor? What do you guys think the answer to that's going to be? Is being a trader as difficult as being a doctor? My answers would be kind of split, but what do you guys think? Is being a trader, not a trader like Benedict Allen, but a trader, is that as difficult? By the way, I use the term trader to mean investor too. Anything you're doing in Forex, futures, stock market, whatever it is it as difficult? Yeah, you guys are, it's not more difficult for sure, but it can be trickier. And those of you that trade, tell me if these little analogies make sense to you. It actually may be trickier in some ways. Imagine being a doctor, but your patient refuses to tell you where it hurts. Do you get the analogy to trading? Some days the tools that are handed to you by your nurse are rusty instead of sterilized. And how about this one? How about every time you cut into a patient, the organs are in different places? You go to do a heart operation and you find the stomach's there. And down in the intestinal area is the heart. Do you guys relate to, isn't that kind of what it's like being a trader? I mean, every day is unique. Every day is a fingerprint. We have to learn every day from scratch at the beginning. And I don't care if you're day trading, you have to learn every day. If you're longer term or swing trading, you have to learn every little market environment. And it's all a unique thing, right? It's not like you walk in, to the bakery or whatever it is, and here's the flour, and here's the butter, and here's the temperature, blah, 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 blah. It's not what it is at all. There's a lot of art to it, and that's why it may be trickier. Now, in terms of what you have to learn, no, of course not. I don't think it's anywhere near it. I don't want to scare you in any ways. I don't think learning to be a trader requires much knowledge at all, really. I mean, the educational level, you've heard me say, is that of a fifth grader to be an excellent trader. You don't need more than that from a mathematical or from a conceptual point of view. But you need the discipline, the fortitude, and a lot of things that people don't like to do. What quality of doctor? Just good enough. Limits of reverse engineering, what's next here? So you want to learn to be a trader. You probably know what's going to pop up on the screen here. Wait a minute, let me see. I had some notes here. I breezed right through. I'm not scaring you. I mean, I'm reading here a note I wrote because I didn't say it. Trading can be learned methodically and is not as intense as medical school, law school, engineering. But those are very objective pursuits. That's the point I wanted to make. I knew I forgot something. Trading has a lot of art to it. That's the difference. See, in a sense, learning something that's objective, even though it may be 20 times the material, is in a sense simpler. Because once you've learned it, right? An engineer, architect, for the most part, a doctor, attorney, they're very objective things. I know everything has a little subjectivity to it. Engineering, not so much. Architecture, not so much. But all these things, they're very objective. And no matter how hard they are to learn, once you learn them, you've learned them. Trading, not necessarily. You can learn all the objective parts, and you can still mess it up because it becomes so emotional. Because you find out that you can make your former week's salary in 30 minutes. And that really messes with your head to some degree. So you want to be a trader. There you go. There it is. Just do that. You can go on YouTube, you can go to the free stuff page, and you can just simply look at trades. Here's the problem though. Videos like this are the painting, if you will. It's the final product. And even when you hear the 3-minute description of what happened, you're not really understanding what went into it. Now, how do I know this? I've told you I've had pros and cons about putting stuff like that, Trade of the Week videos, out to the public in general, because on one hand, they're very, very helpful in the sense that they are very useful here to reinforce concepts once you understand them, and also to show new traders what exactly you can do with technical analysis. The problem I have all the time is that people constantly look at these and think that this is a total training mechanism. This is how you learn, and it's not. Do you know one of the most common emails I get from people? You want to take a guess since we're on this topic? You could probably have a really good guess what a very common email I have. One that is so common, it makes me go 50-50 on even having these videos posted. No, those aren't the questions I get. The question I get all the time is that somebody will send me a trade. They say, here's a trade. And they say, Paul, what I did was I copied your last trade of the week video. I found the same trade and I did it and it didn't work. Did I do something wrong? And what do you think their trade, in my view, resembles my trade? What percentage do you think like their trade resembles mine? They're saying they copied my trade of the week. In other words, put a video out, it's a 3-minute thing, boom, boom, boom. They're on the site. So I says, wow, what a great idea. Paul played that off support on a failed sell setup. Boom, I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, zero. It's not even close. I look at it and go, what are you talking about? This isn't anything I would ever do. Why? Well, just for an example, I'll give you one example. The video may say I play something off support, major support, minor support, whatever it is. But the question is, what the heck is support? If I surveyed 50 traders and asked on a chart where the support areas were, I would get 50 different answers, and most of them I wouldn't agree with or like. You guys in the seminar program, we spend half hour to an hour defining the 4 criteria to rate support, right? Let me ask you guys, if you're not in the seminar program, what is support? Well, if you could tell me in 5 words and 10 words in one line, what is support on a chart? Because this is the problem, right? Is that people hear the words, but they don't know what they mean. Emotional support, financial support. The most common answer for support, so I kind of hope nobody types it, is silly. It's 70% of the prices stop falling. That's not support. Tradable support. Prices stop falling in downtrends all the time, don't they say, right? In an area with previous buyers. So prices in a downtrend all the time get buyers and it bounces. It's not support though. It just falls right through it all the time. People often say that you look to the left, and that's the stupidest answer I've ever heard. Do you know that some of the strongest support areas have nothing to the left at all? And you could have tons of stuff to the left, there'd be no support. You have to understand what it makes. So this gets me, I've had a lot of comments too. I've been using the term a lot, C-rated technical analysis and A-rated technical analysis. But, just the C-rated technical analysis just kind of looks and says, there's something on the chart to the left there, so it's going to hold. And when it doesn't hold, they say, technical analysis stinks. Well, when you show me the chart, I would say that's not support. That's not even close to support. As a matter of fact, the trade there is to short that bounce because it's going to fail. And you have to know the difference, right? So, limits of reverse engineering, am I done with this topic? By the way, this is the longest topic. So if you want to learn a trade, learn it from the bottom up. Those who don't learn superior technical analysis never make it, or they get a false sense of security as they do well in one market environment, but wash out in 6 months. Believe me, I see that, just so much. It's sad. But people that don't really know what they're doing, and they come in the room and they're flashy, they got some good trades, and then all of a sudden, next time I talk to them, it didn't work out. I had to move on because they just thought that they had it down because they made money a month or two, whatever it was, but they didn't know how to reproduce their results. They didn't really know what they're doing. So teach yourself. I'll even help you if you want. Learn from me through the seminar program. Learn from someone, but do something other than lose money and just think it's going to change. So enough on this topic. That's my point of this whole one. Number 2. See up here, we're on number 2 already, but number 1 was the longest one by far. It was my peeve of the night. Number 2. Do an honest assessment. Now here we go with the fancy words, and this is the language nobody wants to hear. Evaluate your current trading. But I want you to stop and think about this a minute, for real. A lot of people just kind of start slowly working into some trading. They do some trades here and there. But where are you? How long have you been trading? How long have you had an account where you take long and short positions on a regular basis? How long have you been at it? Here's a key one. Do you feel frustrated when you have a losing trade? If you have more than just maybe 10% emotion, that's not a good sign. You shouldn't have that emotion for a losing trade or for a winning trade. Now we goof around in the room, we go boom, we talk about things, but I think everybody in the room knows I don't care when I have a losing trade. I get a little mad when I miss a good trade. I'm not sure if that's a good sign or not, but I don't get upset over losing trades. I don't go crazy over winning trades. It's a business. It's kind of like, it's almost as if you're running a hot dog stand And when somebody came in and bought 5 hot dogs, you high-fived your partner. It's like, no, it's not a high five. We sell hot dogs. Some days are busy, some days are slow, but that's what we do. We're traders. We make money buying and selling stocks. That's what we do. Do you know if your last losing trade was a good trade? Now think about that for a minute. This is one of the biggest deals to me. It's these little nuances that can really help you. Your last trade that you lost money on, could you, if we got on the phone or we got together in a chat room, could you sit there and tell me, Paul, this was a good trade. I know it lost money, and I agree, a lot of good trades lose money, a lot of bad trades made money. But could you sit there and tell me, yes, this is absolutely what I do. Here are the characteristics I look at. Here's what I do. This works, and I will continue to do this. Now, sometimes things change. Sometimes you do a certain trade, and environments change. You've been doing a very, something that only works in a very bullish environment, and all of a sudden the market's going more south now. So you have to switch what you do. But absent changing what I do, this is a good trade, and I will continue to do it. How many of you can say that after a losing trade, right? Everybody says it after a winning trade. Oh, I'm a genius. I had a winning trade. Oh, yeah, it was great. I'll do it again. But how many people can take a losing trade and say, this is what I do? How many people can take a winning trade and say, oops, I got lucky. That was not what I want to do. I got emotional, I goofed up, and I got bailed out because the market came in and helped me. Does this make sense? Are you understanding kind of the point of tonight? It's a reflection, if you will. We're only on number 2 out of 10, but the rest are going to go a little faster. Does this make sense? Whatever level you're at, this is a reflection to say, hey, if you're doing okay, can you do stuff to make yourself better? This is one of the big questions to me. That's very important. Can you identify? Can you reproduce good trades? Can you outlaw the bad ones? Do you know what it is? Are you making money? Here's a question for you. You've been at it a month, 3 months, 6 months, 5 years. Are you making money? Now, maybe some of you are just going at it slow, and you should start out with extremely little risk initially. So when I say money, I'm not saying, are you making your living yet? You shouldn't be trying to until you have the confidence and the track record to prove that. But in terms of risk units, in other words, even if you're risking $5 a trade right now, if you're day trading, are you making 20 bucks a week, right? Whatever it is. It's funny. I had a long time ago. I had when I did mentorships, prior company did mentorships, and I had one of the guys come to a mentorship. There were 3 people coming to a total, and we sat there for a week. And one of the things he emailed me ahead of time he wanted to work on was he said he's just not doing good enough to make enough money. But he sent me some of his stats. And, well, he didn't send me the trade, he sent me some of his stats. And his batting average was 52% and his sharp ratio is 1.8. Now, for those of you that are into stats, is that okay? 52%, 1.8? Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So I'm thinking, I'm just thinking when I go to the mentor, I'm thinking, okay, this guy just doesn't understand the stats. He doesn't know how to do a sharp ratio batting average. You know what it turned out it was? Those were his stats. But the problem was he was risking 10 bucks. And this is back when we had commissions. So he's making whatever it was, he made 90 bucks in the week or whatever it was, and he paid 85 in commissions. And he's saying, I can't make a living doing this. And he just didn't understand the math. I'm like, okay, take your 90 and multiply it times 100. Now you're making $9,000 a week, and guess what? Your commissions don't go up 100 times. Your commissions stay the same. So he just didn't quite understand the R unit thing, just that he was doing great, but he was afraid to advance because he just felt he wasn't making good money. So little things like that. But that's what I mean is if you're profitable in terms of making money compared to what you're risking at it, whether you're risking 10 bucks or 1,000 bucks, how are you doing compared to what you're risking? Were you profitable last year, last month, last week? I know this may shock some of you, but the goal of trading is to make money. That may be shocking to some of you. That's what we're supposed to be doing, not having fun, not goofing around, not having a good time, but we're here to make money. And at some point you have to ask the question, the hard question, are you making it? And if not, when are you going to? What is going to change to have you making money? I address this because I know that there are a lot of people listening that aren't making money and they maybe should be at some point. Focus on trade results is number 3. Focus on trade results. I don't mean just your profit and loss. It's obvious. I'm making money. I'm not making money. But your past trades are where the gold is. And we talk about this a lot in one of the classes in the seminar program. But I want to tell you, for those of you who want to learn on your own, the secret to doing it is your past trades, is understanding. I had someone say to me recently, I don't have time. This is, a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago. Maybe you're here. I don't have time to keep stats to review. Okay. My answer to that is, well, then you don't have time to trade. If you're not going to review what you're doing, it's like running a company, right? Whatever it is, and you have 20 employees. And you say, well, I'm so busy, I just can't follow up on any of the employees. So they're putting out, they're putting out whatever you're making. They're putting out lawnmowers and the seats on backwards and the wheels are square and whatever it is, and you don't have time to follow up on it. That's a ridiculous comment. If you don't have time to follow up doing anything, you should not be trading. You shouldn't even be paper trading because you're just going to create bad habits. Performing a month's worth of what-if analysis, going through your trades. Now, if you're trading, even on paper, risking $5, risking $1,000, whatever it is, if you go through a month and you go back and perform a what-if analysis as you go on several different aspects, that is more valuable, more precious than it could be than taking a whole year's worth of studying other things, because these are your trades. This is what really matters. I know there's programs you can buy that talk about backtesting strategies in the market. And I know some of you aren't going to like to hear these next words, but they're worthless. They're just garbage. They're crap. Doesn't matter. There's no such thing as backtesting strategies, because there is no purely objective concept that works. And anytime you interject some subjectivity, then there is no such thing as a subjective backtest. They've been out there for years, for decades. You can try them all you want to. If there was something that did well, everybody valued using it. Here's what you backtest. You backtest your own trades. Does that make sense, or do I need to explain that? You backtest the trades you took. Does that make sense, everybody? You look backwards at what you did and say, hey, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I did this? Because this is what you did. These are the trades you take. Not some theoretical, buy over the high of the last 22 bars, the stop under the low of the last 15 bars. Whenever the rising 20 crosses the rising 40, all that is going to get you is months and months of goofing around without making any money. Next, only on number 4. I feel like I should be beyond 4. Write a plan. Ugh, not this again. Everybody ready? I've been talking a lot. I told you this would be boring. I have a comment for you here. Ready for this? Everybody give me your comment to my first thing here about writing a plan. You should wait until you fully understand all of your trading strategies so you can write a perfect trading plan the first time. How much do you love that statement? Yeah, that's total crap. That's what people say to me all the time when they haven't written a trading plan in 2 years. They say, oh, well, you know what, I'm still working on getting everything down so I can, no, absolutely not. It's completely false in here. Just make sure nobody reads that. Completely false. If you've taken the seminar program, whether you have or whether you haven't, you should be writing your plan in the paper trading stages. You should write a plan in 15 minutes, because that plan will be revised every day the first 2 weeks you trade with it, every week the first 6 months you trade with it, and it's always going to be something that's eligible for revision. It's a work in progress continuously. And the sooner you get something on paper, the sooner you use it and the sooner you modify it, the more you'll be following a structured method of trading where you can improve. Because you can't improve if you don't have a basis for comparison, a basis for what you're doing. If you go out and do something different every day in the market, how do you reproduce the good trades from Monday? How do you avoid the bad trades from Tuesday? The answer is you can't. You don't know, right? You can't. Right, Rodney. Yeah, exactly. Because Rodney brings up a really great point, because the very, very first step, and Rodney, I'll let you answer, what's the very, very first step in your trade review? Very first step in trade review. When you go back and say, what did I do today? What's the first question you have to ask? Or else everything else is worthless. Rodney knows the answer to this question, I guarantee it. Yeah, exactly. Did I do what I was supposed to do? Guys, if you didn't do what you're supposed to do, stop. What's the point of proceeding? Why are you going to evaluate a trade you took when you did the the double nickelback bend over strategy, and that's not even in your plan. You just did it because you were giddy and you felt like taking a crazy trade. What's the point of reviewing that? There is none. The point is to put down exactly what you want to do it, and then to be able to evaluate. Question one, did I do what I was supposed to do? Great. Now question two, is what I'm doing working? And that's the tricky part for those of you that are self-educating, because just because it lost money doesn't mean it wasn't good necessarily. It's odds. Some good trades don't work some days. So that's where it's a little tricky. And that's where I've offered, even if you're working on your own, send me some trades. Matter of fact, I'm meeting with somebody tomorrow who's not a student, just to review some trades, to help out, to see if he's got a plan that makes sense, or if I'm going to look at the stuff and go, this is nonsense. You're just trading garbage. What are you doing? It's the only tool for improvement. And I put this here, and for those of you in the seminar program, as you know, on your resources page, there's a whole video about this. I did a pretty complete version recently for everybody. It was not a recorded event. It was just for live if you caught it. But one of the highlights I like to say, because it's probably one of the more common things that I see, is that the key part of your trading plan, which is the strategic part, the strategy, the management of that strategy, it's not a copy and paste. And I tell this to seminar students, some of the stuff in the seminar program is so detailed, people just think, oh, well, this is my trading plan. And no, it's not. It's not your trading plan. That is still a very specific strategy, but it doesn't answer the question, how are you going to trade it? It still doesn't answer it. Everything we learn in the seminar program is not like just one way. It's all strategic, and there are different ways to do things. We talk about that all the time. Whether we talk about two different types of entries, and there's different gap ratings and different entries to gaps, and a lot of it varies with your personal trading style, your preferences, whether you like more laid-back style, a faster style. All those questions have to be dealt with, and it's not just, that's the most common thing I get. I mean, it's my own seminar manual, copy and paste it and put it in a trading plan and send to me. I'm like, no, this isn't your trading plan. That's what I gave to you. Number 5. What are you actually doing? Now, this may seem like a silly question. But I keep trying tonight to get to a certain issue that a lot of people have. Silly question, not really. 90% of the people who write plans don't even look at or follow them after 30 days. It's just a fact. You're probably, some of you listening to me are guilty of that without a question. You write a plan, you kind of follow it, you tail off at the end of the first week, and then you never see it again. It's just gone. It's in the computer. Maybe you print it and put it in a drawer somewhere. You never see it again. So my question to you is, what are you doing to improve? What are you actually doing to improve? If you are not thrilled with where you were at, what are you doing? Are you just taking trades and you come back the next day hoping things will change by osmosis? I say change by osmosis a lot. I think I got that many years ago as a popular phrase, I think, but it really doesn't make any sense. I looked up what osmosis is, and it really isn't that great a saying, but I'm still using it anyhow. This slide seems like a nothing slide, but in my view, it's one of the most important of them all, because this is the only essence there is to getting better, is to look and to say, and this is one of these introspect questions. I want you to just pause a minute while I get a sip and just think, if you're not happy, what are you doing to make yourself better? What are you doing? Seriously, what is happening that's going to make tomorrow different, that's going to make next month, next year different than this year, assuming you want to make it different. Maybe you are thrilled with what you're doing. Number 6, another boring one, but it's another important one for a subtle little reason. I'll tell you what that is. Write a financial plan for yourself. Goals and limits. How much time you spend? How much money will you spend? How much money you're willing to lose before you get the results you want? Trading may not be for you. Set limits and move on. Trading is not for everybody. There's people that just can't do it. It takes a certain person. It doesn't take a smart person. It doesn't take a person who is involved prior with markets. As a matter of fact, any prior market experience you have is terrible. If you're a stockbroker or financial analyst, you have a huge detriment to overcome. The best person to learn this is somebody who has no financial experience at all. It's not, experience is not what's needed, but what is needed is that desire to really make money, to treat this like a business, and to have the regimen to learn what you need, which is not hard, and then the discipline to follow it. That's what a lot of people are lacking. And what I really want to point out to you, because I cannot tolerate somebody losing significant money trying to learn this. That's unacceptable. You never ever do this. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is learning a trade, a profession, like any other profession. And it's one that has a very quick return compared to the time you put in to learn it. But don't shortcut that time. But you should never lose significant money learning to trade or invest. What should you spend doing it? Well, number one, if you're going to kind of go at it full time, and I put not recommended, because unless you have the money aside that you say, I'm just comfortable taking 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and not having other income, and I'm just comfortable with that, and I want to do that anyhow, I want to take a little vacation, great, that's fine. But if you're under financial pressure, you don't leave your job to go learn to trade. You don't do that. It doesn't work that way. You have to build up your trading ability. So any cost that you have learning to trade should, number one, be any cost of living if you're going to not have other income. And number two, the cost of any education if you're going to get some. And that is so minimal in the big picture. I mean, it is such a crazy small amount. There are people, and it's not an exaggeration, that literally lose more money every 2 to 3 weeks than what, like, for example, the DTS, the total educational package costs. At DTS, there are never additional costs. There's that one fee you pay. It's an extremely cheap fee when you look at a lifetime of trading. But that's all you should be losing. And then losing trading, the way I teach you to trade, and even if you're doing it yourself, it's a merit system where you should never be getting into bigger dollars until you're successful. So if you end up quitting in 6 months, the losses you have in terms of trading expenses should be extremely minimal, way less than the cost of the education. So there should not be any big loss. Your biggest frustration if you decide to quit trying to learning to trade, your biggest frustration should be the time you put into it. That should be the frustration, not money. I can't tell you how it frustrates me to have a new trader after 3 months tell me they blew out an account. That's just stupidity. It's one of those rare times I have to say you deserve it, because there's no reason that should ever happen to anybody. And I'm using the tough language like that to get across to those of you who, may do that to yourself in the future. You don't do it. You just don't do it. Number 7. I don't know why that's there. Just kind of ignore that. That's from the next slide. I threw a trade in at the last minute. I mean, like at 4:45. So somehow that kind of got transferred to that slide. Ignore that. What are you looking to? Here, I'll help you ignore it. There you go. Make a list of your prep study. In other words, what are you looking at to trade or invest? And this is another one of these to me that is just really, really a big deal. And anybody who's been a member here for the last 6 months, you know this because it's been one of my key focus points to free members the last 6 months. What are you looking at? If you're reading financial reports, reading news, setting on social software to find winning trades, just stop. Just stop. It's not going to do it. Time out, a little ad-lib story here. I had a gentleman email me probably 3 months ago now. I doubt he's here, and I don't know his name, and I wouldn't say it if I did. So if you're here, just be quiet. But I don't think you're here because I don't think he liked me. I never heard from the guy before. He said that he was looking at YouTube videos. He heard mine. He really liked me, and he wanted to ask me some advice. Number 1, he just retired. Number 2, he needed more income. Number 3, he thought the stock market would be a good way to get that. And number 4, he just learned this option strategy where you're buying out of the money calls based on the Herplex reverse blah, 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 blah. And he wanted to know if I knew how to set up this piece of software in a trading platform that I don't even have. Anybody want to take a guess what I said back to him? Because these are the people that scare me. I'll give you a hint. He's never going to be a client at DTS probably. Yeah, it's pretty much what I said. The email back started off with one word: stop. New line. Stop what you're doing. Stop everything you're doing. And then I said to him, the next line, I said, I'm probably never going to hear back from you because you set off down a road that you think is going to work. And I can guarantee you it's not going to work. Everything you're doing, everything you're saying, You're going to lose money over time. I ask that you stop, talk to me on the phone if you want. You don't have to do anything with me, but what you're doing is not going to work. And especially because it sounds like, you need the money and you're out desperately looking for something. I didn't hear back from him. I followed up and said, hey, any comments for me? I asked him at the end to bookmark the email for a 6-month alarm and to get back to me in 6 months and let me know how he's doing. But that's the type of stuff that scares me a little bit, Yeah. Take all your money, go to Vegas, put it on black. That would have been a little bit better thing to do. And I got off in that story because of the word stop there, because that's what I said to the guy, stop. You're looking at all the things that doesn't matter, or worse yet, you're looking at things that will guarantee failure. In other words, and here's another one of these big lines to me. And when I first set out to do this, I thought, okay, end of the year, it's a good presentation, blah, blah, blah. But when I really got some of these key lines in here, I thought, you know what, a lot of people are not going to appreciate this, but a lot of people are. When you enter a trade, day trade, long term, doesn't matter. Can you spell out exactly what it was that made your decision that pushed you over the edge in objective terms? Think about this a minute, guys. Just think about this. You take a trade, right? Wins, loses, doesn't matter. I just walk into your office out of nowhere. I magically appear. And I say to you, hey, tell me out of 2,000 stocks, why did that stock make it on your screen, and why was that the one you traded at 9:45 in the morning? Why? Can you tell me that? Could you do that if you're listening to me? If you took the trades you took today, if you're day trading, could you tell me exactly and precisely why they made them on your screen, and every factor that went into you making the decision to take them, whether it was a good, could you do that? You don't have to answer. It's a theoretical question. Well, thanks, Robert. Yeah, I not only did not say thank you, he probably said something else to you under his breath. I never heard back from him. But I replied to him that way because I just know the signs. I know the signs of somebody who's kind of desperate and just looking out for the miracle cure. And it's not going to happen that way. And the worst thing that could happen to the guy is if he had a couple of winning trades doing what he's doing, and he got kind of hooked on it, and he's going to be struggling. When you enter a trade, day trade or long term, can you spell out exactly what it was that made your decision that pushed you over the edge? Now, I know you're sitting there listening to me kind of like maybe you listen to the TV, right? This is a rerun. I know what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But just stop a minute. Clear your mind a minute and just think about it a minute. I want you to just really think about it. Understand what I'm saying. Can you precisely, objectively define for me exactly why you took that last trade? Because if you can't, you're not trading. You're just guessing. And whether it's a month, 3 months, or 6 months down the road is going to lead to a serious problem for you. So by way of example, I threw in one chart here because something I've been saying in the room a lot lately, and some of you are going to say, oh yeah, he's been saying that, is that sometimes after a trade, I'll say, you know what, to me, this is the essence of trading. And I'm talking to the day trading room, but it's the same thing long term. Every long-term trade I do, to me, it's that moment in time, it's the essence of trading. It's the essence of trading. And I just, for an example, because I said this yesterday, right, Robert? Lack, short in the morning. Riven today, I think I said it to you on Riven, yeah. But this, it was the same thing with lack yesterday, right? So let me get rid of that black line there. So here's what I want you to think about. The average trader is sitting there with, the FOMC meeting, and this is going on, and Russia's doing this, and the economy's doing that, and oh my God, interest rates again, and holy cow, this guy's talking on the TV, and oh, when's it going to happen, and oh, I have all these longs in my long-term account, and they're all losing money, oh. And then you come to the market, and you just come out there subjectively. Here's, you know what I care about? I don't care about any of that. I want to be on a deserted island with a laptop that only has a feed to my trading platform. That's all I want. Because this is what I want to do. I want to see a chart. You're not seeing all the charts. I'm not here to explain this trade. But right there, shorting, LAC yesterday, right there. Right now, if you're kind of new, you're probably saying, Paul, that's a bunch of crap. You didn't do that. Trading room people, did I do that yesterday? Did we do that? Some of you probably played 9:32 yesterday morning LAC short, right? Right off that topping tail, just under 22, right? Now, if you're a new trader, you may look at that and say, well, how would you possibly do that? That's ridiculous. No, this is the essence of trading to me. This is what it is. It has nothing to do with all the stuff people look at all the time. It has to do with, here's a chart, and I know it's going to get sold there. I know that's going to get sold there, and I'm willing, I don't know for a fact, I wouldn't bet my arm on it, but I'm willing to put up a bet, if you will, in the term of a trade, that I'm going to short that there. And obviously it did well, it made money. The point of it is simply that that is the essence of trading to me. And until you understand a moment in time, until you understand that chart, to me, you're always going to struggle. That's what trading is about. It is so different than what most people picture it to be. Most people go about it in a very, very difficult way where you never have success. Right? Yeah, right. Sometimes things stop, Robert. Of course they do. Yeah, it's odds. It doesn't work all the time. But being able to say, that's a high odds entry. Now, sometimes, Robert, too, I take a trade, and after I tell, I wasn't proud of that. You know, that, and no, that wasn't today. But sometimes I'll take a trade and say, I didn't do that right, So if that stops, that's not really on my strategy, that's on me. That's the emotional Paul did something wrong today. But you know what? I can look at that and immediately say that. And that's the level all of you have to be at before you start risking any serious money, to be able to say, perfect. When I remember even saying when LAC did this, right? I said, this is perfect. I said, I don't even care strategically anymore. This is a perfect entry, and I would do this trade any day. Now, why don't I do that trade every day? Well, because it doesn't happen every day, right? The thing opened down here, and anywhere up in here, I was starting to look to short it. I even probably had orders set up. I don't remember to short it beneath this, but it ran all the way up to here. Well, you don't get that luck every day. Some days it doesn't happen that way. Some days you don't get what you do. There was a trade last week. I don't remember what it was. Maybe some of you do. It was the biggest home run trade of the week, and I didn't get it because I wanted it to run 10 more cents higher before I shorted. Remember that one? I see the chart in my head. I don't remember the symbol, but remember, if this would just pop over 80 cents, it was over 80, I'll short it under 80, boom, 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 here's the stop. It never made it up there, and I never shorted, and it fell the entire day. That was probably, I don't remember if that was Monday or if it was last week. But that's what trading is about, and I can't emphasize this enough. It's all in a chart. It's about superior technical analysis. It's about math and probabilities, and it's about controlling your emotions. You control your emotions through getting confidence through experience. You get confidence through experience by starting out really small and building up that confidence, right? Number 8. This is a silly one. Take a trial in a DTS trading room, even if you don't day trade. If you do day trade, you absolutely should come in. Even if you have no intention of staying, even if you would never be part of a trading room in your whole life, just come spend a week with us. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, you have to pay a nominal fee, so I don't have riffraff in there, but you can ask me to refund it and you can get your $9 back. It's just a matter of knowing who's in there. But you can come in there and spend a week, and you may learn more in that week than you possibly learn in a year on your own. Why? Because you're just watching a professional trader get organized, take trades, and even if you never want to come back, I don't see why you wouldn't want that experience. And again, I'm just offering that to you as an educational thing. That's a quick one. But why wouldn't you want to do that? Number 9, go to the free stuff page. Most of you all know this already. If you're newer, though, I always have to put this in there. It may take you 2 weeks to go through everything in there. And I'm almost for sure one of the emails you get, one of your little bonus New Year's presents will be probably a detailed review of the free stuff page. Don't forget the archives page. 90% of the material is in the archives page. Only the most recent stuff's on the actual free stuff page. It's the greatest free source of useful trading information anywhere on the internet. That is my quote. It was not PL there. That's me. It was not a quote from anyone else. It won't teach you how to trade, but if learning on your own is a wealth of information, also required for those of you in the DTS seminar program. And number 10, and there's a big gulp here. I didn't give you the link to the free stuff page, but I mean, I think at some point you guys should just know some of this stuff. I know most of you know this, but let me just give you I'm just going to give you the home page because it's a lot to type, and you can just click on it. And once you're on the home page, off on the left, free stuff page, wherever you want to go, look around. On the free stuff page, it's always been there. I don't advertise it a lot, but you have the ability to set up some coaching sessions. And do not go there until tomorrow, or at least don't pick any times for this year. It's closed for this year. I didn't blank out the dates for the rest of the year, but anything after January 2nd. And I'm going to specifically try and keep my afternoons free in January for those of you who want to just get together and chat. Now, obviously, in the seminar program, this is meaningless to you because you can chat with me all you want to. But for those of you that are not subscribed to anything and you want to get together and review some trades, whatever it is, let me know. It's at the top of the free stuff page. You can figure it out. They get a dedicated January afternoons after the break. And it is 5 to 6, and let me seriously ask you if you have any questions. For those of you who joined us late, next couple of weeks there's a schedule. Do you have any questions? Where did it say this? Just there. If you're not already, meaning if you're not already profitable, I want everyone to be very profitable from trading investing in 2023, whatever it takes, okay? Hey, Scotty, what I teach, Scotty, applies to anything you want to trade. I have people that have gone around and do Forex and futures. I personally like to trade stocks because I think there's a big advantage to trading stocks. We trade U.S. equities, and we basically focus on just the opening 90 minutes of the day. And since you're asking about the trading room, we try and keep anything that's good information well hidden from you. So here's a little description of the room, so I don't have to. You have a lot of questions. This page here does a great job answering, I think, virtually anything you want to know about the room. It's a great page. So read that over, and you can email me if you have any questions. Other questions? Here's my email, everybody. It's simply paul@disciplined trading strategies, etc. Well, Sammy, that's just it. My definition of support is not something I can say in one line. It's a half hour to 45-minute lecture. I'm not saying that to blow off your answer. I'm not saying that to blow smoke, but again, I like turning the people. Seminar students, somebody, right? We talk about what support is for 30, 45 minutes, right? Agree? I mean, it's not, and that's the whole problem, Sammy, is that people try to reduce trading to like just one line. There's support. There's 4 concepts to support, and it literally is a 45-minute discussion. So I'm not trying to blow you off, but it's something that's part of the program. I just want to make you aware that what a lot of people think of support is not support. And when you think something supported doesn't work, don't tell me technical analysis doesn't work. What we need to have a discussion about is what you're looking at as being support, okay? Yeah, Roger, good point. Next year, we're actually probably going to start charging extra in the room for the humor fee. The price of the humor fee is going to go up probably. And of course, the t-shirts are going into full production and probably be given to everybody in the room, once they come off the printing press, which may be never. Other questions? Sure, coffee mugs with the t-shirts. Let's, as long as we're making up stuff we're never going to send, let's send it all. How about nice blazers with the DTS logo on the back? We do that too. Hey, Louis, how are you doing? I know you. With DTS golf balls, I love it. Absolutely. Actually, I kind of like, that little DTS logo would look great on a golf ball. That really would. Maybe I should really do this. If I get bored later this year, maybe I will. Hey, Emmett. So and again, any questions you want, keep them coming. But for those of you that are peeling out and leaving, have a great holiday time off, whatever you do with it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. And if you just like taking some time off, have fun with your time off. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Amit. Well, thank you. And look at the timing. It just clicked 6 o'clock. Merry Christmas. All right, looks like we're right on schedule. Have a great time, everybody. We'll see you all next year, unless you're in the trading room. We still have one more day in the room, so we'll see you in the room tomorrow. For the rest of you that are free members, we'll see you guys next year. Feel free to email. I'll be around, and have a great holiday.